What's up guys, Ruppy here, welcoming you to week 3 of the UNPL. Last week, my Columbus Swoo suffered our first defeat of the season at the hands of the Rustboro City Rejects. That one is on me. I should have prepped better for the possibility of Dragon Dance Regidraco. Good on Arts for getting it set up at the right time and catching me with it. Nothing I can do about it. But we are still at a 1-1 record with +1 differential, so not the worst thing in the world that could have happened to us. Obviously, though, this week we are looking to bounce back. Also, I apologize in advance if I sound a little off. I am not feeling the best while recording this, but you just gotta roll with the punches sometimes. This is what I get for not wearing a coat during chillier weather while having to unload a delivery truck. Anyway, work woes aside, my team and I are kind of chilling out here on the beach right outside of Levincia, getting ready for the game ahead. And this should be an interesting game, because we are facing the SoCal Annihilation, coached by the Grandmaster, who also goes by D.Rey. D.Rey and I have quite a bit of history with one another. Whether it be our first meeting in, I believe it was Season 7 of the IBL, where I introduced him to the wonderful concept that was Sunny Day Weather Ball Curum, to our 2 clashes in Season 2 of the BBR, where he introduced me to the unfathomable power of Dracovish. Twice. One of those being a playoff ejection. And 2 games we have also played in between those points that he didn't record because he was actually a late substitute for a league, and this was before I kind of got talked back into giving YouTube a shot, where we were basically playing in a no-Terra side league, where I beat him 1-0 with a Scarf Meowscarada sweep to save the day, basically staring down a 4-1, in the final week of the regular season. And then he paid me back with a 1-0 win of his own that knocked me out of playoffs literally the very next week. Also, let's not forget that the regular season game of the BBR that D.Rey and I played, somehow we took the 10-minute chess timer of Sword and Shield and extended it to an hour. Don't ask me how we did it. I don't think either he or I have an answer for you. But point of the matter is, D.Rey and I usually have some very interesting games, and I don't think this one will be an exception. The fact that he is 0-2 with a -10 differential and at the bottom of the standings, do not let that fool you. I have a feeling he's going to be giving me a fight, especially since he made a couple moves that have actually made his team quite the headache to prep for, honestly. As we go ahead and flip over to my chalkboard, the aka Pokemon Showdown's Teambuilder. And let's go ahead and throw his roster up off on the side there. His team consists of the following. God, I am struggling to talk because of how stuffed up my nose is. I really should mind the weather a little better. Regardless, Chien-Pao, Ogerpon, and yes, this is in fact the original teal mask. No other mask in sight here. Tornadus-Therian, Heatran, Galarian Weezing, Goodra, Slowking, Spiritomb, Alolan Sandslash, and Chimecho. Those last 2 are recent pickups of his, heading into this week. D.Rey dropped Staraptor and Kricketune to pick these 2 up, and proceeded to declare Alolan Sandslash one of his new Terra Captains. As far as Terra types are concerned, Alolan Sandslash can Terra into Ice, Water, or Electric. Goodra can go Dragon, Water, or Fairy. If you want me to be completely honest, I am extremely positive that Terra Water Alolan Sandslash is coming to this game. If Goodra does come, I do not expect it to be his designated Terra. Maybe an emergency backup if necessary, but we will see how that goes. Does not change the fact that Goodra is still a special sponge. I should know, I have used it in the past. Very solid mon. Heatran, you all saw what that thing can do for me as a Terra Captain in the BBR Summer Scramble. Heatran is a very solid mon. Obviously, it has a ×4 ground weakness that is concerning. D.Rey does have several ground weaknesses on this team, actually, I could try to exploit. We'll see how that plays out. Naranja-Therian is always a problem. Base 91 speed is actually a really solid speed tier, even in this meta still. Intimidate is always nice. It is one of his 3 rock setters alongside Heatran and Alolan Sandslash. Chien-Pao is obviously the biggest threat here because that thing hits stupidly hard, especially since its ability lowers the defense of all other Pokemon, and that thing was kind of the focal point of a lot of my prep. Alolan Sandslash, a little bit less so, but he does have the option to Slush Rush because of Slowking, with its chilling reception being able to set up snow. The fact that Slowking could potentially set up Trick Room is another concern. Same with Chien-Pao. That thing can do a lot from the passive end of things. So yeah, he has a really solid threatening team now after those transactions. So let's see how I plan to try to crack it, shall we? We are going to start off with Rogue the Sneasel. Needless to say, she's the one who kind of felt like she got robbed last week of that Ice Shard KO on Regidraco that could have potentially saved the game. Though I did talk with Arts after the game. He was EV'd in a way that, honestly, even a banded Ice Shard would not have had no chance of OHKOing barring a crit. So, it is what it is. But Sneasel has a mission this week. She's going to put her rogue skills to work, trying to take back the proverbial Dark Eyes crown from Chien-Pao. Because obviously, when Chien-Pao was introduced, everyone considered it the better Sneasel / Weavile. Sneasel's kind of taking it personally. And let's see if we can capitalize on that. It is for that reason that I am running Choice Scarf this week. Sneasel, honestly, with 216 speed EVs, is able to outrun Chien-Pao unless D.Rey decides to Scarf it, which I don't think Chien-Pao normally does run the Scarf, but I think D.Rey knows to expect the unexpected with me. Ice Skull Crash, Low Kick, Brick Break, and Knockoff are my moves. I'm going Terra Fighting since Sneasel's one of my Terra Captains. Ideally, the situation is to maybe make him not think I'm Scarf, since outside Chien-Pao, Sneasel outruns everything else on his team, barring a Scarfer. Make him think he can comfortably send Chien-Pao in and wipe me out with a Sacred Sword. In which case, I simply outspeed, Brick Break and Low Kick will both OHKO, Chien-Pao will no longer be a problem, and the Dark Eyes crown will be reclaimed. I'm running both moves. Brick Break primarily on the off chance that he goes screens this game because Chien-Pao is a possibility. And Low Kick is primarily to hit Heatran a little harder because Brick Break is just not quite getting the job done depending on how much bulk he pumps into that thing. Low Kick will definitely take advantage of Heatran's weight. It's also a good way to catch Alolan Sandslash on the way in too if he's not Terra'd. But Sneasel is here to outrun his entire team, hit stupidly hard. Ideally, even if he knows I'm Scarf, that also sets up potential mind games, because if I don't Terra, with this spread, I actually do have a chance of living Ice Shard, and even Sucker Punch from even a banded Chien-Pao, though Sucker Punch would still hurt quite a bit. But Rogue can still take the hit and pop it if I don't Terra. If I do Terra, a little more problematic, but ideally, Sneasel is not going to Terra until Chien-Pao is out of the way. That is my primary game plan right now. Otherwise, Sneasel just goes to town on this team. Also, benefit to Inner Focus. Sneasel is immune to Intimidate, so Naranja-Therian cannot slow this thing down, at least in terms of offensive firepower. Next on the docket, I think I might have found an imposter aboard, the Columbus Swoo starship. Although, hard to tell, because, that's crewmate. I don't know. Anyway, Among Us shenanigans aside, yes, Ditto is finally making its debut this week. The EVs are honestly irrelevant, aside from HP for potential Rock Chip. Just because the rest of the stats are ultimately irrelevant because Ditto will just assume the form and stats of whatever is standing across from it. Choice Scarf, it's a Ditto. I don't really need to explain what this thing can really do. But D.Rey does have a lot of mons that if I do transform into it with Ditto, I'm, for the most part, set to do a lot of damage to his team, depending on how he goes about this. Because the thing is, there are some mons on his team that need specific moves to beat a lot of my team. And those moves are also counterintuitive in case of this scenario. So, I'm gonna take advantage of it. It just creates a mind game of, I didn't bring Ditto the last 2 weeks, did I bring it this week? We'll see if D.Rey figured that out or not. Moving down the line, we have Calamity next, and if this set looks familiar, yes, it should. This is, aside from a couple of shuffle around EVs, this is essentially the same Infernape set I brought to my week 1 game. I did take a bit of attack out to pump a little more speed in, just so Infernape can for sure outrun Landorus-Therian. Which, that thing really doesn't want to be taking Fire Blasts. It can live, it just does not want to take it. But I won't have to worry about Intimidate slowing Infernape down because of what Fire Blast being my primary special threatening move. Obviously, Vacuum Wave Chien-Pao would out-prioritize me, but Infernape resists both Sucker Punch and Ice Shard, and Vacuum Wave is still able to wipe the thing out. If he is choice locked into a non-priority move, then Vacuum Wave easily outspeeds and just wrecks the thing. Next on the docket, we have the return of Road Roller, my Iron Treads. Doing something a tiny bit different this week. I've got the 136 speed EVs with a Jolly Nature, which, again, will always outrun a non-Scarf Landorus-Therian. Same deal as Infernape in that regard. Which gives me 120 HP EVs to work with. I am going max attack. I am not bringing rocks this week, or any form of hazard for that matter. But Road Roller is still able to spin, with Rapid Spin also giving me the extra functionality of giving me a +1 speed boost, which will then allow Iron Treads to outrun his entire team and start going to town on pretty much everything. Ice Spinner is for the likes of Landorus-Therian and Goodra. Earthquake is just stabbed and hits most of his team super hard. Iron Head is mostly for Galarian Weezing, because if he does bring Levitate, that thing would kind of wall the set. Iron Head at least threatens it. So that is, for the most part, what Iron Treads is here for. Spin away hazards, and do damage, while kind of taking hits. Air Balloon is there to make sure that I can 1v1 Lando for a time, because obviously if I'm immune to Earthquake because of it, I can easily pop the thing with an Ice Spinner, and then we have a very interesting ball game on our hands. It also allows Iron Treads, at least out of the box, to 1v1 Alolan Sandslash better if he's not Terra'd. If he does go Terra Water and has Terra Blast, then we might have a problem. But I have answers for that, and well, one answer in particular, and its name is Laundry Day, the Rotom-Wash. Kind of flipping the script again. I ran heavily specially defensive last week. This week I'm going physically defensive, because honestly his biggest threats, D.Rey's biggest threats, are all on the physical side. Volt Switch and Hydro Pump are pretty much the only offensive moves Rotom-Wash really needs. Will-O-Wisp cripples his physical attackers. Yes, I do run the risk of a Heatran Flash Fire with it, but 9 times out of 10, I don't see him wanting to send Heatran in a Laundry Day unless he's that confident that it can take a potential hit. And obviously Landorus-Therian kind of struggles with this in facing this set, no matter what it is, and it certainly does not want to be taking the Hydro Pump just to try to block a Volt Switch. I am bringing Reflect back this week, just to kind of further slow down his physical attackers and kind of set me up to be able to turn the tables on him if necessary. Last but not least, I'm sorry D.Rey, but I gotta do it. Mimi the Mimikyu is coming this week. Obviously, anyone who knows D.Rey knows that he absolutely loves Mimikyu. I mean, one of his team names is the San Diego Snugglers, and Mimikyu is the mascot for it. Kinda hate to be doing this to D.Rey, but I can't deny what Mimi brings to the table for this game. The 216 speed EVs are, again, using Landorus-Therian as a benchmark, because it is honestly the most common benchmark for a good chunk of my team. Play Rough, Shadow Sneak, and Drain Punch are my offensive options. really, Mimi is just here to kind of be a nuisance. Just chip away at this team and kind of set up other things for victory. Drain Punch means I am not completely passive against Heatran, and to a somewhat lesser extent Alolan Sandslash. Play Rough obviously nukes Chien-Pao. Shadow Sneak is for priority. I do, however, have a bit of tech on this, and that is why Trick Room exists in the bottom slot. I mean, I can use Trick Room to potentially turn the tables if I can pinpoint his Scarfers or see what exactly Chien-Pao is cooking with, kind of turn the tables on that, be able to outrun it, force him to kind of have to rely on priority. But the primary reason Trick Room is here is on the off chance he brings Trick Room himself, because then I can just have Mimikyu come in, eat a hit for free, as long as Disguise is intact, of course, and use Trick Room to basically cancel out his Trick Room, in which case things will get interesting from there. So, that is going to be the team as I go ahead and flip back to the locker room. I apologize if this team builder was a little incoherent at some point. I was trying to get through it quickly because D.Rey actually messaged me just now. He's actually ready earlier than we are agreed upon playtime. But I mean, hey, I'm fine with getting out of the way earlier if he is. But regardless, that is the team. I'm going to go ahead and get set up, and I will be right back when it's battle time. Alright, it is battle time. It's going to be interesting seeing how this plays out considering the track record that D.Rey and I have against one another. Alright, we have found one another. Let's see what he brought. Chien-Pao, Slowking, Heatran, Goodra, Alolan Sandslash, and Ogerpon. So, right off the bat, no Landorus is a little surprising, actually. No Spiritomb or Chimecho is honestly pretty good. Slowking, probably a Trick Room variant, but this is, of course, why I have Mimi. The good thing about no Lando, too, is I can freely Volt Switch all over this team. So part of me is tempted to lead Laundry Day just for that reason. Just to kind of see what stares me down, and then scout and go from there. So, yeah, we're gonna lock that in, and we're gonna go ahead and see how this plays out. So, good luck, have fun, D.Rey. And let's see how this battle fares, because we have a long history of really interesting games, and I really want to see if this one lives up to it. I hope D.Rey got everything locked in correctly. We'll find out shortly, because he kind of went straight to the buzzer there. So, hopefully everything is alright on his end. Yep, he's got all 6. So, we are going to go ahead and get the ball rolling. So, I am, of course, leading Rotom-Wash. He is leading with Ogerpon. Okay, not the lead I wanted to see right out of the gate, I will be honest. That is kind of on me. So I've got a couple of options here. I could go Infernape now because I can take a hit from this thing. I would prefer not to. Because he could just Ivy Cudgel right out of the gate and try to get Rotom out of here. I would not put it past him. Alternatively, he could also just try to set up spikes, which would also not help any. I'm going to go ahead and hard switch into Calamity, though. And we're going to go from here. See how this plays out. Would rather Laundry Day not be taking a hit this early. From this thing, at least. So, Calamity's going to come on out, as he's going to U-turn. Alrighty then. So, Ogerpon, potential Scarf with lead U-turn. He does have free readiness to decide what he goes into here, and it's going to be the Slowking, which honestly doesn't surprise me. And you know what? I'm thinking one of two scenarios happens here, because this feels like an easy switch out on Calamity's end. I want to say he doesn't straight up attack. I want to say he Chilly Receptions out, maybe? I'm gonna stand in knockoff. I'm gonna make an early gamble here. Colberberry, which is now popped. Alright. So that's a thing that just happened. As he is going to... Yep, he's going to Chilly Reception. That does not surprise me. So I do still have Calamity out here, which is kind of nice. Though, I have a very strong feeling I'm about to see Alolan Sandslash come waltzing on up to me. Getting rid of Colberberry on Slowking, though, is not bad. Granted, I believe... Yeah, that makes Sneasel's job a heck of a lot easier in dealing with that thing. Kind of. The fact that it doesn't have an item is still a thing I need to be... a thing that I need to keep in mind. But that's at least stab knockoff coming from Sneasel when we get to that. Also, I'm kind of glad the medicine I took is kicking in, because... Oh, I would have been so miserable trying to commentate this game otherwise. So I'm pretty sure the fact that I actually stayed in with Ape has definitely thrown him off, because, otherwise this would have felt like maybe a free switch back into Ogerpon if I had gone into... So he's going to go into Heatran, which is of little to no surprise to me. And I am tempted to just go straight for a close combat and try to take this thing out. I do risk Calamity if I... Yeah, I do risk losing Calamity is the thing. If I don't get the KO, I would... Honestly, Laundry Day is my safest switch at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and resort to it. I don't want to get super aggressive and D.Rey starts catching on to that. So Laundry Day is here as he doubles. Potentially calling the fighting move. Yep, he goes back into Slowking. Alright, so the safe play was the smart call this time. And I don't think this thing is staying in. Odds are pretty good. He just goes ahead and either just hits Chilly Reception again or just flat switches. I'm a Will-O-Wisp because I don't see Heatran coming back in. Or he actually does leave. Okay, fair enough. Him leaving this thing in actually does allow it to take the burn instead of anything else if he's going to Chilly Reception out. No, he's going to Yawn. So this is... a Slowking that's here to basically be a pain in my ass. Fair enough, I can easily get around this with a Volt Switch and take a chunk out of the Slowking in the process. So we will see what the Magic Conch has to say to Laundry Day Volt Switching in its face. That is some decent damage off. Not bad at all. And knowing what I know now... Part of me is tempted to go into Mimikyu right this second. Part of me wants to preserve it because of Chien-Pao. Rogue feels like an unnecessary risk. I could also go Ditto and just clean his entire moveset. But I think Mimi is my best bet, honestly. Because I have other ways of being able to deal with Chien-Pao if necessary. He just goes ahead and goes for the Scald. Right, I forgot you get that. I forgot you got that back. Not a fan of that. Still, though, you are almost definitely switching out right now. The question is into what? And I'm honestly... If he does flat switch into Heatran, which I could see given the circumstances, I'm going to Drain Punch for predicting the flat switch. Yup, okay. Come on, show me the Heatran. That is a Heatran! And that is a Heatran that is not going to appreciate this Drain Punch it's about to take. So, Mimi definitely out here, he ran Flame Body. Alright, I certainly cannot fault him for that. And he is Leftovers. So, Mimi is kind of... This is obviously not ideal for Mimi. I'm just going to stand in Drain Punch anyway, see what he wants to do here. Because it chips Heatran down a little more for anything else to come in and go from there. As he goes ahead and gets his rocks up. So there are those. Fair enough, I was wondering when those were going to come into play. I wouldn't be surprised if Slowking came back in at this point. I'm going to go Laundry Day. I know Mimi's burned, but I can still pull shenanigans with it later if need be. These rocks, they're annoying, but we can play around them. As he goes ahead and protects to scout to get a little more lefties recovery back. Okay. Fair enough, good to know. So, I'm definitely picking up that this is a bulkier Heatran for sure. It having Flame Body means I don't have to worry about Will-O-Wisp giving it a Flash Fire boost that can come back to bite me. So a Hydro Pump definitely kills, and I feel like he would want to preserve this thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and Volt Switch out. Okay, he protects the Scout. I mean, fair enough. No reason not to at that point. So, that's fine. That's extra lefties recovery for Rotom-Wash as well. And honestly, part of me is tempted to go for a Hydro Pump. I mean, he probably does switch out this turn. I'm just going to set up a Reflect, see how he wants to play this. So, that is a Reflect up, which will help out with other things. Magma Storm. You know what? Fair enough. And I can't switch out, and the Protect feels super obvious. But it is what it is. I kind of have to roll with it, because Magma Storm's got me trapped in here. So he is going to chip down my Laundry Day a bit. It is fine. I'm going to click Hydro Pump just because I can. I know this Heatran's going to go ahead and Protect now. That's extra Magma Storm chip. He really has no reason not to click the button. Or he's just gonna eat this Hydro Pump to the face. Okay. So, unfortunately, Laundry Day is getting chipped down quite a bit, which is bad because this thing was meant to be my Alolan Sandslash check. But it's fine, it's fine. I honestly thought he would protect that turn. I'm going to go ahead and click Volt Switch now. I wouldn't be surprised to see Protect right here and now. Yep, there it is. He had no reason not to go for it that turn. None at all. I mean, he is burning my Reflect turns, and he is wearing down Laundry Day more than I really wanted this thing to be worn down this early. He does know that unless he pulls a double Protect, though, that a Hydro Pump will definitely kill him. I'm going to Volt Switch because I don't think he takes that risk. Maybe he does, predicting that I am going to go... Yeah, he's going to go ahead and switch out now, which is fine. I'm going to free myself from Magma Storm anyway, as he goes into Goodra, which is absolutely fair. I'm just going to Volt Switch out, get a bit of chip off on this thing. I really want to go into Iron Treads and spin these rocks away. But I also don't want to eat a Flamethrower in the process, is the problem. I'm going to send Mimi back in. Because honestly, Mimi's here to be a nuisance. This thing is also left over, so honestly, I will take this thing not being AV. That makes my job a little easier in some respects. I'm just gonna go ahead and click Play Rough. It's not gonna kill because of the burn, but it'll still take a huge chunk out of this thing if he wants to leave it in. Alternatively, if he goes back into Heatran, I can go from there. But I think Mimi's not in a bad spot right now, even with the burn. Mimi is here to kind of apply pressure, and that is exactly what it's doing. So there is that just happened. Take a huge chunk out of this Goodra, as Knockoff is a thing, so no more Life Orb. So there goes some of the extra pop that Mimi had in her attacks, which, again, sucks. But it is what it is. There goes my Reflect. That is fine. I'm just going to go ahead and click Play Rough again. Without my Life Orb, it's not a roll to kill anymore, barring a crit. But part of me still feels like D.Rey wouldn't want to leave this thing in and have it getting even weaker than it already is. Because again, this is basically just kind of setting Sneasel up for success at this point. Or we go that route. Okay, that's fine. As I now see Scald. Goodra getting all the good toys back. And Mimi is gonna go down to the burn. Which I'm almost positive that one was... No, that wasn't Slowking. That was Heatran. So that is a passive death. So I'm down 6-5, but I am honestly not in a bad spot, all things considered. Iron Treads definitely comes in and threatens this thing with a KO. And I'm going to go ahead and make that play, actually. Get Road Roller in here and start going to town. Yeah, this thing is low enough that I definitely take it out with an Earthquake or an Ice Spinner. And honestly, I kind of want to go for... I'm gonna go for Ice Spinner in case he tries to preserve, nope, he's gonna let Goodra go. That is fine. I mean, these rocks are still here, but his special sponge is out of the equation. Which is always appreciated. With no snow, Alolan Sandslash doesn't outrun me. Chien-Pao could be a potential problem, but we will go from there. He's going to go into Slowking. Which, fair enough. That is absolutely fair. I'm just going to go ahead and spin these rocks away. Get him out of here. Get Road Roller up to +1 speed. As it's going to go for the Scald. Take a chunk out of Road Roller. Yeah, there goes my Air Balloon. That is fine. That is fine. It is fine. We are fine. So with no Lando, Road Roller kind of accomplished everything I really needed it to. So I'm willing to stay in an Earthquake, take a huge chunk out of this thing. As he just goes for Scald and kills. Which is fine, it's fine. Because this thing is definitely low enough now. I'm just going to go to Laundry Day. I just don't see a reason not to. I'm just going to go ahead and click the Volt Switch button. I'm pretty sure he switches this thing out because he really does not want it dropping when it's his Snow Setter and the Alolan Sandslash still has yet to hit the field. Out is going to come Ogerpon, which is honestly fine. I'm going to go ahead and Volt Switch out on this thing. So the way I've seen this thing played so far leads me to believe this thing might be Scarfed. I'm going to go ahead and send in Rogue. Because an Ice Cold Crash definitely kills from this range with that... You are leftovers. Okay. Good to know. Which now raises the question of, do I want to take this particular gamble now and risk losing Rogue? I mean, granted, Terra-ing will not help me. I probably should have just gone into... Well, Ogerpon naturally outspeeds Calamity anyway, is the problem. I'm just going to go ahead and click Ice Cold Crash and see if he... Yep, he's just going to go ahead and switch. Which is absolutely fine. Into the weakened Heatran. This Ice Cold Crash is going to do nothing because it misses. Okay, we have a problem now. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Magma Storm, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised to see Rocks either. Laundry Day feels like my safest switch here. Or I could be ultra aggressive and go Calamity. I'm gonna go Calamity, honestly. Because I feel like a Magma Storm is incoming. That or Rocks. I don't think he Earth Power's predicting Infernape. Just because Rotom-Wash is the obvious switch. So I'm a bit on the back foot here. I need to definitely turn this around. He's gonna go ahead and get Rocks back up, which I have no way of getting rid of those now. So, good play on his part. He absolutely loses absolutely nothing there. Absolutely nothing at all. I'm just going to go ahead and click close combat and see if he... Yep, he's going to protect. Which, fair. Certainly cannot fault him for that. So if Slowking comes in here, which I would not be surprised if it does. I still haven't seen neither of his ice types, which is concerning. This is starting to get away from me a bit because of that alone. I'm just going to go ahead and close combat again. If he switches into Slowking, fair play. Which, no, he goes into Ogerpon. Okay. So, that definitely hurts me quite a bit. I'm pretty sure this thing is out of the range of a Vacuum Wave. It's definitely outrunning me. Problem is, there's really not much I can do in return. I mean... I could send Ditto in now. That is an option. I don't think he Ivy Cudgels is the thing. He probably Stomping Tantrums, honestly. He still runs Laundry Day. You know what? I'm gonna get Calamity out of here. And we are now going to eject this quote-unquote crewmate from the Skeld and onto the battlefield. So let's see exactly what all this Ogerpon has. I know it is leftovers. So I do have that going for me. As he does Stomping Tantrum, which I definitely take. So let's see your whole moveset. I mean, you are weakened, so I could still use this. So Ivy Cudgel. Stomping Tantrum. And Taunt. Interesting. I mean, knowing this, a U-turn definitely kills. I'm just going to go ahead and Scarf U-turn on out of here. Either I pick up the kill on... Yep, he's going to switch this thing out, which is absolutely fine. Into Heatran. Fair play. Absolutely fair play. I still U-turn out on this thing. Keep some momentum going in my favor. The temptation to go back into Laundry Day and start getting some leftovers recovery is very real, but I'm gonna go back into Calamity. Because I know a close combat kills this thing. For sure. It will definitely finish off Ogerpon at this point. Slowking would really depend on how much it's taken from, Slowking would absolutely depend on how much it's taken from, got back from Regenerator. He's kind of got me trapped in a bit of a vortex here. There's really not much I can do about it because of the team I brought. I thought I was better prepared for this, but I might have gotten a little too tunnel visioned again. Which, I mean, it happens. I'm going to knock off predicting the switch. Let's see if we can kind of get out of this death spiral a bit. As he goes back into Ogerpon, which I think will die to this knockoff. Yes, it will, so I at least have that. Alright, so Ogerpon is off the table, which is a bit of a load off. That makes Rotom-Wash's job a little easier. Slowking would absolutely not surprise me at this point. Chien-Pao would be a risky play, but if it's banded, I think... If it's banded, Sucker Punch... No, he's gonna go back into Slowking, which... Absolutely fair. Certainly cannot fault him for that one. And this thing is out of... Without an item, this thing is out of the range of a knockoff kill. I could knock off and put it in range where a burn might kill it, but I feel like he might... Either he Scalds here, or he Chilly Receptions out, I feel. I really should have prepped better for Slowking. Because this thing is giving me headaches. I mean, a Scald feels obvious, but so does... I'm gonna go into Laundry Day. Because I don't know what he Chilly Reception's into, actually. Well, I suppose maybe... Possibly Chien-Pao. Yep, he's gonna Chilly Reception. I figured as much. I mean, I could have stayed in and hit... I could have stayed in and knocked off. Kept this thing low on Regenerator, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Kudos to D.Rey, though. He's kind of got me somewhat trapped here. Is that the... That is the Sandslash, which... I mean, yes, Slush Rush is active, but I don't think this thing necessarily threatens me. Potentially. I'm gonna get a Reflect up, try to make my life a little easier somewhat. Regardless of what Terra he tries to go for, which I would not be surprised to see Terra Water. Or he maybe he could forego Terra. Nope, he's gonna go ahead and Terra into... He goes Terra Ice. Alrighty then. That is fine with me. Icicle Spear. Laundry Day is going to be able to live, and I'm going to be able to get this Reflect up. So that helps immensely. I am starting to wonder if you're loaded dice, if this is the tech you're bringing. I'm going to click Hydro Pump and let Laundry Day go at this point. There's no reason to continue this. I mean, I got to Reflect up. I'll have about 3 turns, I think, to take advantage of it. So I think in the grand scheme of things, we will ultimately be fine. Maybe. So yeah, I'm willing to let Laundry Day go here and see, and just figure out how I deal with you from here. I mean, there's no Life Orb, so I do have that knowledge. If I go... Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and Icicle Spear. That is fine with me. Alolan Sandslash. And he's gonna KO Rotom-Wash with Icicle Spear. That is fair. That is fair. So, Calamity still hits the thing stupidly hard with a Vacuum Wave. I'm kind of hesitant to go that route, though. I mean, behind a Reflect... Sneasel is certainly in a much better spot. So honestly, I'm tempted to just pull this trigger. I'm going to go ahead and send in Sneasel. Yes, it's going to take quite a bit of rocks damage, but that is fine. The Rogue is out here. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and Terra and Low Kick. On the off chance he has Iron Head, because if he has Iron Head, I would really prefer not to eat that. And even I mean, he's going to go ahead and switch out. Into Slowking. No Heatran, which is going to die. Which I am fine with. So this Heatran is no longer an issue. Rogue is ready to go. Rogue's ready to go. So now I guess the question becomes... He knows I'm not Boots. He hasn't seen Life Orb Chip. Does he know I'm I mean, even if he knows I'm Choiced, does he know I'm Scarfed? He might, just by the way I brought Sneasel in on Alolan Sandslash. But at this point, it's mostly going to boil down to... I wouldn't be surprised to see... If he sends in Slowking, I'm almost positive he knows I'm Choice Scarf. Or at least Choice in some fashion. If he goes back into Alolan Sandslash or Chien-Pao, then I go from there. Unfortunately, my Reflect is on a timer, but Scarf Sneasel does outrun both Chien-Pao and Slowking. He's going to go Chien-Pao. So, I don't think he knows I'm Scarfed. I still have 2 more turns of Reflect. So I'm just going to go ahead and go for this. Come on, Rogue. Reclaim your crown. Ah, ha, ha. He bait... Okay, I see. Baiting the hit. I can't be mad about that. This low kick is going to take a chunk out of you, which is absolutely fine. The snow is gone, so there is that. And honestly... I think Ditto's really my only play here. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll with that, because I don't think I have much other choice. I mean, if I get burned, it would be very unfortunate. But it is what it is, and I'll at least be able to glean this thing. Whatever move I'm missing on this thing. Yep, you're just going to shut Reception right back out. Into, I presume, Chien-Pao. I mean, Alolan Sandslash is still an option, but I don't... I feel like Chien-Pao is more likely, though. Yep, there it is. There it is. And there goes the Reflect, so that is unfortunate. And I think I kind of have to let Ditto go here. Scald, Future Sight, Yawn, okay. I'm going to try and Scald, but yep, I had a feeling that was going to happen. That is fine. I mean, if I go into... Okay, so here's the scenario. Rogue is Scarfed. And I'm pretty sure he knows that by now. I could go Calamity and threaten with a Vacuum Wave. I mean, if he's not banded... I'm gonna send in Calamity. I think my hands are a little tied on this one, unfortunately. It is what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and Vacuum Wave. Which, yeah, that's fair. That is absolutely fair. Into the Alolan Sandslash. Okay, I'm fine with that. Just because of that alone. I'm just going to click Vacuum Wave again because it kills this thing. Unfortunately, I think it's going to come down to a matter of Sneasel against Chien-Pao in a situation where I am locked into a non-fighting move, because as long as Slowking is around, yeah, this is a problem. I would kind of have to get Slowking in a position. So Alolan Sandslash is going to go down, which is absolutely fine. Calamity's just about dead too, so... yeah, this is just all sorts of not working in my favor. As Slowking is going to come back out now. And at full. Ugh. Yeah, I don't see a way I win this. I think D.Rey got me. I think D.Rey got me pretty good. Because honestly, I kind of have to just go for the knockoff here and see how he plays this one, which I'm pretty sure you have to just do a ton of damage to you. And I think I just lost Calamity to Life Orb, so nope. And all I have left now is my Scarfed Sneasel, which is not going to be able to beat both. It can't 1v1 both Slowking and Chien-Pao, unfortunately. So, GG D.Rey, you got me. You maintain your stranglehold on our series with one another. And hey, you're on the board with a win now. I can't argue with that. I'm at least gonna knock off to try to kill this thing. And not even accomplish that. Which, Rogue lived... well... I mean, that's just salt in the wound at this point. Let's be real. I mean, D.Rey could switch and preserve the 2-0. Because I don't... I'm locked in a knockoff, so we're just gonna ride this out to the end. And there goes the Magic Conch at the very least. So go on ahead, D.Rey. Unfortunately, Rogue failed in its mission to reclaim the Dark Ice Crown. Nothing I can do about that. It is what it is. But we'll get him next time. We will get him next time. GG, D.Rey. So 1-2 with a neutral differential. So now things are getting a little iffy on me, but we will find a way to turn this around. We will find a way to turn this around somehow, some way. But that is going to do it for this week. Thank you so very much for watching. I have been Ruppy, and my Columbus Swoo and I will be back next week to try and turn around our fortunes by any means necessary. I will see you guys then.